Welcome to Carolina Varsity's 2012 look at the NCHAA playoffs. We're going to first take a look at the 4AA playoffs. I'm Dale Ross. This is Matt Morrow. We hope you've been enjoying our videos. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better job again this evening. This game has Butler versus Jack Britt. These two teams played each other several years ago in the state championships. Matt and I attended the Butler Mallard Creek game Friday night, so we just thought we might say a few things about it. Really not much to say.
Not really.
I think a comment was made to me that Mallard Creek was very bland. I think if they play that game 10 times, Butler wins all 10 times, and there might be one time the game could be a 2-score game. But I think Butler just had too much talent on the field. Great defense. They had a great defensive effort. Mallard Creek made some small mistakes, but they just didn't jump out and do anything. I think was the biggest thing. They didn't really generate offense. Mallard Creek had an initial good stop, at the very beginning of the game. You thought this might be a ball game, but it looked like Butler just kept making, the right calls from that point forward, and Mallard Creek never seemed to get their gears, get into gear.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, that, like you said, the Butler defense, in particular the front seven, controlled the ball game. One observation I had was I was thinking the Mallard Creek offensive line would do a better job against the Butler front seven, especially that they've been running the ball a lot better than they have in the past. But they just couldn't get it going. And when you become one-dimensional against Butler, like we've been saying all year long, when Mallard Creek started having to try to spread it out and throw it, they threw a couple interceptions, and the big play, I think, was at the end of the first quarter. They went to that full house backfield and ran the play action. They had Samuels down the seam and just missed it. I think if they hit that play, maybe Butler tightens up a little bit, and maybe they can do some things out of that formation that can give Butler more trouble. But outside of that, there's not a lot to say. Butler pretty much dominated. They had a 14-0 lead at the half, and they built on that in the second half. And I was surprised they threw the ball a lot, and they had good success with it. And it seemed like sometimes Mallard Creek's defense in the secondary was a little confused. I don't know if calls were coming in late or what that might have been, but Mallard Creek's defense did make a couple plays. They had an interception in the red zone. They forced a missed field goal in the red zone, and I was thinking maybe you let a good team hang around, they can make some plays, but Butler just shut that down defensively. It was a great effort by them.
Yeah, I think the Mallard Creek defense was on the field too much. I think they played a pretty good ball game. They had a couple of breakdowns. That first touchdown, which actually was a great read or a great play by Ferguson. I don't know if Ferguson, Ferguson was scrambling for his life, rolling to the left, and made a great throw. So I don't know if he knew to do that or if he just threw it up and was hoping. But a couple of breakdowns, but I thought really the Mallard Creek defense played a fairly good ball game. Just on the field too much. Offense didn't give them any breaks. Offense didn't leave them in good position. And we could go on and on about maybe what Mallard Creek could have done, but the end result was a big win by Butler. Yeah. And I did watch. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Garner game.
Not a lot of it.
So, Jack Britt got here with great play by their quarterback, in the fourth quarter, throwing a touchdown pass. And so, as I looked at this, first of all, as I looked at, this upcoming state championship, the first thing that comes to my mind is, can somebody out there tell me how Butler will not beat Jack Britt by 3 touchdowns? That's what I see as I look at things. The last time these two teams played several years ago, state championship game, and it was a 48-17 ball game. Right. And I could very well see a similar thing. In fact, when I was writing my notes down, I wrote down 49-7. Obviously, I think Butler shows up and they play solid. You know, they just play solid. They don't go through the motions, but they play solid football like they have in any one of their ball games this year. I don't see Jack Britt being able to, to handle them. A couple of things that jumped out at me were that Britt does have 2 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah. Very impressive.
Very impressive. One of those happens to be, one of their big yardage rushers happens to also be the quarterback. Now, he's only at 316 yards, but he's thrown for about 1,900 yards. So 218 attempts. They've thrown a fair amount. As you look at the Jack Britt and how they got here, it was a great win over Garner. I think an even more impressive win the week before over Richmond. We know how Butler got here. Butler rolled through everybody, with the exception of Butler had 2 tight games this year. When I say tight games, I mean, less than 3 scores. The first Mallard Creek game really wasn't close, but the only game that really stands out as a close game on their schedule was the East Forsyth game 2 weeks ago, which was very, very tough, and some thought was the best team in the state. Butler proved that they're slightly better than them. I don't see Jack Britt as being the same kind of team. Jack Britt's a spread team. They run out of the spread. I just can't see how. You tell me.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Dale. The thing that stuck out to me was they gave up, they beat Richmond, they gave up 52 points. Right. And Richmond's offense is not as prolific as Butler's. They don't have D1 standouts. They don't have, a running back like Blesson who can just, will himself to first downs and touchdowns at times. Right. The balance Butler shows offensively, I think, is just going to be way too much for Jack Britt on defense. It says they run a 4-4 defense as their base. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you can do out of the 4-4, but if Butler spreads these guys out and Riley can throw it around without making turnovers, I think they can almost name their score here, to be honest.
I think so too.
Jack Britt does have 2 threats at receiver, so I think they'll attack the corner away from Stribling. Number 7, I don't know his name offhand, but I think they'll try to attack him if they get down in the game, which we're both thinking that they will. Mm-hmm. Butler defensively, Jack Britt runs a spread. That's something Butler's seen. At this point, you're not going to see a lot of things that you haven't seen already. And I think Butler will come in, and the thing is, Jack Britt doesn't have a quarterback that's mobile, apparently. And that's what's giving Butler trouble. So if you come in and you run the spread and you maybe run some type of zone read stuff or stuff we see all the time, Butler will know how to shut that down. Jack Britt may get 1 score early on, maybe pulling something out new, state championship. Mm-hmm. You're not going to hold anything back. Right. But in the end, I think it's just too much talent on both sides of the ball. Butler by 3 scores at least.
Yeah, you mentioned quarterback. It just made me pop in my head about the quarterback in the next game we're going to talk about from New Bern would be the kind of quarterback that could give Butler a lot of trouble. And I have a feeling that after this championship game is over, these 2 4A championships, we're going to have a lot of discussion about who's the better team in the state. Is it New Bern or is it Butler? There will be a lot of people that will have wanted to see those 2 come together and play. But as far as this game is concerned, it looks like we're both picking Butler in a big one. Britt comes out, plays. Yes, Butler puts on their pants the same as the kids do that play at Britt. It's just that they put on bigger pants, and you hate to say it, but they put on the big boy pants.
And we're not disparaging Jack Britt at all. And you fans out in Fayetteville, please understand that. You guys have a great team. You've had a great season. But, you know, when you got a team with full of D1 talent and that's on a mission to get a title, and it's going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah, when you face a team that's, you know, scored 69, 48, 49, 40, 60, 49, 45, 58, 33, and all of those are against 4AA schools. In some of those schools, some of your better football schools in the state, not just in the area. You know, you're facing a big uphill battle. You know, I wish the guys luck, and you know, hey, Cinderella, you know, could come around, and you know, the stars could align, and Britt could pull it out. But it's going to take a mighty big effort, I think, from them. So we'll see you there.